Yep.
All right, cool. There we go. And we're live here at the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neil, and I'm joined by actor, stuntman, just the all-around horror icon, Tom Savini. It's very cool to have
Yay!
you. Hello. And Jason Baker, director of Smoke and Mirrors, The Story of Tom Savini. So it was very fortunate that you got Tom Savini for this movie, or else it would have been a very strange.
Yeah, it would have been kind of weird.
Yeah.
Would have been
What
like
would it be called?
What would it be called? Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
What would it be called?
It would be cool if it was still just called that, but it was about, something completely different. About monster cereal. Actually, how did this come about? Like, whose idea was to do the documentary?
It was completely Jason's idea.
And I assume people probably came to you before, Tom, like, let's do a documentary. So why this time did you think this is the person I want to do it with?
Well, Fangoria did this thing called Scream Greats a long time ago. Going to Pieces. There's been a few of them where I was featured in them, but this is the first one that's Scream Greats was completely about me, but this is all about me. And Jason tells the story of, he went to my makeup school, then he went to the George Romero Film School, and then we did a short film together, and that's when he liked, he heard all these things about Tom's. Jason, why don't you tell it?
Well, you see stuff online, and you see it about everybody. And I heard, some negative things about Tom, and then I met him, and I was like, this guy is wonderful. Like, I don't understand the bad rap he had. And we just would, again, like Tom was saying, we were on his film, and we just kind of would shoot the shit, and Tom would tell these amazing stories. And I just saw the way he was with the crew, and his grandson was in the film and his daughter was there. And I saw the way that, like, he just was so wonderful with his family. And then finding out that Tom was like a single father and doing everything as well. And I was just like, wow, this is a really compelling story. And, like I've said before, I'm like, there's nothing against single moms, but there's a lot of single mom stories, and there's not a lot of single dad stories. And so to find out that, here's Tom doing all of these amazing films and work and everything, and then on top of that, raising a child by himself, I'm like, this is a very unique story that I would love to tell. And we pitched the idea to Tom and just kind of told him we didn't really want to go into his career as much as his personal stuff, because again, DVDs and Blu-rays and, supplemental materials have covered a lot of that. And I just felt that we'd be kind of treading the same ground over and over again. So to me, I was like, it's not so much the films you made, but the guy who made them and what you were going through doing that is what interests me on a human level, and just finding these amazing stories that, like, here's Tom making this, directing Night of the Living Dead, which is one of my favorite films growing up. And then you find out that while he's doing all of this and making a film on top of it, he's going through a divorce. And I'm like, that's amazing that it's like you're still able to make this amazing film while going through one of the worst situations that I think anybody could ever possibly go through. And, just hundreds of stories like that was just, I felt really compelling and just organic and unique. So I kind of just asked Tom to sit down and we, put stories to cinema.
Mm-hmm. Were you cool with that, Tom, being like really open about, some of the personal things?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Were you cool with that? The idea of being open about some of your personal life that you might not have talked about before?
Yeah. You've seen it, right?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. Well, it does have a lot of heart because of what Jason was just saying. But on a personal level, I showed it in Montreal at a film festival. And after it was over, I apologized to the crowd for all the personal stuff. And they said, no, that's what we want. I mean, they know about my movie career and stuff, but don't get it wrong. The movie is filled with personal stuff, but there's also a lot of my films and stage plays and makeup effects. I mean, we're not depriving an audience of all that stuff, Yeah. That stuff was going on around all the personal stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because some of the personal stuff kind of ties into to your career. Like you grew up with the idea that, I don't want to spoil the movie, but the idea that you have to do a lot of different things to succeed. And that kind of answer why you're doing all these different things early in your career.
That's the first thing. The first sentence in my special makeup effects book is the more you do, the more you get to do. And I tell my students that all the time. The more skills you have, if you want to be involved in the movies, the more things you can do, the easier it is to get in the door. And you must get in the door. Because once you're in the door making fiberglass all day, if they like you and your personality shines. I mean, we had a guy on Creepshow that came in as a PA. That's just a glorified gopher. Before the movie was over, he was an assistant director because they liked him, and but getting in the door is key to success sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And I also want to say what Jason said about some people have bad experiences, and that's not a secret. People say this online, but I've met Tom several times, and he's always been very nice to me, and not just because he's here.
Well, I can admit that I was pretty arrogant at conventions. I felt, I don't know, it was a weird mindset that I had to change, and George Clooney had a lot to do with it. Sure. On Dusk Till Dawn, he was the nicest man I've ever met. And it proved that it doesn't take a lot of effort to be nice. I would say in the last 10 years, there's been a huge change in my attitude at conventions. Every person that walks up to the table, it's a new show and it's for them. And that comes from being in theater, it's a new show every night, no matter how many times you've done it. So when you're at a convention and answering the same question, 750 times in one day, it's a show. And for them, it's a new show. So I think I can safely say there's been a huge change in my attitude. I am a very nice guy at conventions, but there have been a lot of negative comments before that, mm-hmm. And that's what Jason was talking about. He saw all that. And then in his personal experiences, I was not that person. And he wanted to make sure the world knew that.
Ashley here in the chat room, she says, the personal stuff really helps magnify the level of heart and drive behind Tom's career. It's inspiring and helps motivate her.
Well, thank you, Ashley.
So how long did it take to put this together, Jason? And there's some,
7 years.
7 years.
7 years long. So I think it took us about 6.5, almost 7 years. And it was just, again, when you don't have money, you got to spend time. And it was stuff like, again, like we'd sit Tom down and we'd do an interview. And then after we were done with the interview, Tom would realize something. He'd be like, oh, wait, I totally just remembered this thing that we should talk about. They'd be like, yes, we should. When can we sit you down for another interview? And he's like, in 2 months when I get back from, I got to go shoot this movie. And you're like, okay, well, there's that. Or like guys like, and then we run into Alice Cooper, and Alice Cooper's like, I have to be in your film. I'm available in December. And you're like, well, it's May. So but all right, so we'll just get you then.
That's what took 7 years.
A lot of going through all of Tom's archives was a huge task because, like says in the film, Tom was a combat photographer, but Tom's also just been a shutterbug his whole life. He loves photography and taking photos. And so he has countless videos of behind the scenes and family videos and, photographs from all the way. God, Tom, you have photographs from and home video from before you were born all the way up to now. So, going through 70 plus years of someone who is prolific of, photographer and videographer and stuff was a huge task. And then what was the Friday the 13th video game was kicked it back about almost a year because Harry Manfredini told us he was going to do this, want to do the score. And we were like, of course, it's Harry fucking Manfredini. He's amazing. And Harry started on it. And then he'd already started the Friday the 13th video game. And then they decided to switch to the first person and make the whole first person segment of the video game. So Harry was already like contractually obligated to finish that before he could do the film. So that pushed it back, 9 months, almost a year. And then, COVID, of course, COVID came along and fucked everything up. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
So almost 9 years later, we're finally getting a DVD release this January. So
that's very exciting. I don't know. Can you put into words, Tom, what interested you initially in photography, like to capture these images?
Probably one of my older brothers. I had 4 older brothers, and every one of them was an influence on me. My oldest brother was a tattoo artist and a sculptor. He was studying to be a mortician. I had a brother that was just into physical fitness. So they've all had an influence on me. But probably my older brother, Henry, um, with, I remember the very first camera, it was an Argus C3. It wasn't it was a 35 millimeter. But also, I had a darkroom. I would have to process and develop and print pictures in the darkroom. Today, I can take your picture, and in 10 seconds, it's in the hands of a friend in Australia.
Right.
It's a miracle compared to what you had to do back then to get a picture made.
Yeah.
So probably, and then the movie Blow Up with David Hemmings, that really shot me and my close friends back then into wanting to be photographers. That movie was about a photographer who thinks he can solve a murder by what he's seeing in the background of the photos he's taking. Who directed that? I think it was, I forget, but Blow Up. That movie had a huge influence as far as photography goes, So, and I enlisted in the Army to stay out of Vietnam, because when you enlist, you get your choice of schools. You don't go right into infantry. And I chose photography, because I was a photographer. I had a darkroom. So I must have been good, because as soon as I graduated, they sent me right to Vietnam.
Yeah, there's some, definitely dark part of the documentary. And so when you see, real life horror, and you're open about this, about, you would see these things and think, well, how can I recreate this later on?
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird question, but so when you are making movies and you are doing, gore and stuff, is there a line between, I want to make this like realistic and I want to make this cinematic? Because maybe cinematic is more gory than what realistic would be. I don't know. Or vice versa.
No, realistic would be. My reputation is based on realism. I mean, it has to be anatomically correct. I'm the only makeup artist that has seen the real thing, real cadavers blown up with grenades and stuff like that. I'm the one that knows that after 24 hours, red blood turns brown. That's why I hate in movies when they go to a crime scene. It's like the next day and the blood is red. They made a huge mistake, or there's blood on somebody, and then like a zombie or something, and then 2 days later or whatever, it's still blood red. No, it wouldn't happen. So that's because I've seen the real thing. Also, I hate in movies when an actor is portraying a dead body, and he's trying to look pleasant for the camera. When you're dead, none of your muscles work, including your jaw. A dead body is always slack-jawed, depending on the position it's in. But these muscles don't work. So an actor that's not doing that is not doing a good job portraying a cadaver. And I told that to Quentin Tarantino, and I'm sure he's been making sure that if you're dead, you better be slack-jawed. But these are only things that I know because of experience, And if I create something, as you were asking, it has to give me the same effect the same feeling I got when I saw the real stuff, or the fake stuff isn't real enough. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. When you work on Day of the Dead, what was that experience like? Not just making the zombies and stuff, but the themes of the movie. It's the military, and people have a form of PTSD. Again, they've seen all this horror and they're losing their mind. And did that affect you at all? Working on that movie?
No, not at all. No, because Day of the Dead was completely different from Dawn of the Dead. Mm-hmm. Because in Dawn of the Dead was a sequel to Night of the Living Dead, which was a black and white movie. So on Dawn of the Dead, I thought, well, I'll just make them gray, because then who was a zombie and who isn't. But the light made them blue, it made them green, the fluorescent lights, So Day of the Dead was the first time that all the zombies were different. They weren't just one color. They were different degree. Because if you die in the attic, in a hot attic, compared to dying in a wet basement, you're going to look completely different. And I would go to the county coroner and ask him what would happen. So Day of the Dead is a very realistic, for me, depiction of what zombies should have looked like. And plus, they gave me shit when the first effect was the hands coming through the wall. And they were all different. And they were like, Tom, they're all different. Why aren't they all gray like Dawn? Because ethnically, you will die and deteriorate differently. This China person compared to an Italian guy, or a black person, you're gonna do, it's gonna be different. So I was going for that change. I was going for that difference in Day of the Dead. But the military thing, I wanted to play Joe Pilato. I wanted to play Rhodes. George didn't let me. He didn't think I could do the effects and play that part. And Joe Pilato was wonderful. But the whole, we didn't call it PTSD back then. When I came back from Vietnam, I most definitely had it, but we didn't call it that. I just felt like I couldn't feel anything. My emotions, you had to turn off your emotions there to do what I was doing, and they don't just come right back on. It was a movie that made my emotions come back. When I saw Midnight Cowboy, spoiler alert, when Dustin Hoffman dies in Midnight, I went crazy. I was completely hysterical, but years of pent up, held back emotions came out of me. And from that day on, I had emotions again. I enjoyed sunsets. My marriage went right in the toilet, but I was a completely different person after that movie.
Jason, you have so many, you mentioned, so many names in the film. Did you find that most people were like really, up to and wanting to talk about Tom?
Yeah, everybody was great. It was funny. The only person that, it wasn't even them, it was their management, because of course management was
I come into that a lot.
It was really funny. Like, we reached out to Kevin Smith, and Kevin Smith is a huge fan of Tom's. He's hired Tom. Tom was in Zack and Miri when they were shooting Dogma here in Pittsburgh. Like, Kevin invited Tom down to the set and everything, and they're always doing the Monroeville Zombies thing, and always paying homage to Tom and everything else. So we reached out to Kevin's manager, and his manager was just like, no fucking way. And so it was funny. And then once the documentary came out, we went and did we were on Kevin Smith's, one of his podcasts for his Smodco company, and they're like, oh yeah, is there anybody who just said fuck you? And we're like,
you
Kevin Smith. And they're like, oh shit. So, but no, man, other than that, like, everybody we reached out to, I think we tried to get Quentin, and Quentin's just, he's a unicorn. Like, hunting that guy down is next to impossible. But, everybody we did get, everybody we were able to reach out to was amazing. Anybody we talked to was like, yes, I have to be in this. We'll make it work. Let me know. Robert Rodriguez took time out of the 20th anniversary celebration of From Dusk Till Dawn to come, and we shot that in like the storage facility of a movie theater in Austin, Texas during they had the 20th anniversary special for Dusk Till Dawn. He was getting a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Austin Film Society, and he was launching the Dusk Till Dawn TV series, like, all within 2 days. And he still, like, during that time, he took time to sit down and give us an hour of an interview with Tom. So it was just, that just goes, it's just testament to show how much people who have been lucky enough and honored enough to work with Tom, how much they love and adore him. So, and that was the same way with everybody, like Alice Cooper was like, yeah, no, I know I'm playing in front of like 50,000 people in an hour, but let's do this. And just stuff like that. So, just the love that all of Tom's friends and coworkers have for him. Hopefully it shows in the documentary.
No, it definitely does. You can tell they're having a lot of fun talking about Tom. And that's a weird question, Tom, but when you watch a documentary about yourself and you see everyone talking about you, what do you think of it?
Well, I'm being judgmental as a filmmaker, concerned with structure. Is it interesting here? We need something in the middle to propel us to the end. So let's throw in a magic trick where I can put knives to Jason's head inside a box, or we need to open up with effects after effect after effect to grab people's attention and then start talking about my dad and immigration and blah, 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 blah. So my concern was structure. So when I'm watching it, here's my thing. And this is true of anything I've ever done. If something bothers you about it, you must change it or get rid of it, because every time you look at it, it's going to bother you. So I wanted to make sure that nothing's going to bother me when I look at it. So being objective is kind of difficult, I see it through other people's eyes, like when you're talking about it, or when people say, hey man, this thing has a lot of heart, then I can reflect on, yes, the moments that give it heart, but my contribution was structure oriented,
Yeah. It seemed your family was really. I'm sorry. Were you saying
Oh,
something?
no,
Jason?
no. I was going to say I've just always been a fan of the horror structure, where any good horror movie, like American Werewolf in London, is a prime example. 3 minutes in, there's a huge kill, so it's like something that really grabs you, holds you into the movie, and then it's 45 minutes until the transformation. So that was sort of back to Tom's structure. That was sort of my mindset, was that if we do this big, huge, over the top intro with Doug and Tom's effects and everything, that way we'll hopefully grab the audience, and then we can work our way through stuff that might, that people might find interesting, or at least get to like, the effects, and get back into like the fun splatter goriness of the film. And then we go, and then we roll back into more serious stuff. So,
and a lot of guys, well, not just guys, but there was a lot of people who reacted to me talking about my father and wanting to, looking out a window and wanting so much to turn around and go hug him and tell him I love him, which I never did. And I think that's, a lot of people had that same experience. They didn't do it for some reason. And, luckily for me, before he died, I was able to do that. But a lot of people identified with that personal thing, yeah. And then, as Jason was saying, there's a wowie beginning, and then we talk about my childhood. But in my childhood, some interesting things happened about my first job being Dracula. So there were some interesting things in there that showed that I had a kind of an unusual, magic-filled childhood.
Yeah. It seemed your family was really supportive about pursuing the arts, but like, how about the rest of the community and like your friends?
No, I grew up in Little Italy.
Right.
There were hoods with motorcycle jackets and greasy hair, and I was the weird one, because I would go see West Side Story and then take the album over to my friends' houses, and they're all, football players and beer drinkers. And here I am with this album of West Side Story. I promise you, within a half an hour, I had them leaping over couches, snapping their fingers to the beat of and singing the songs, because it was about a New York City gang, and it was a musical. So I guess I was pretty entertaining to those guys, because I wasn't, I played football too. I quit the high school band to play football. So I was hanging out with that group, but I was kind of the artistic influence for that group,
Yeah, interesting. Well, once you're a jet all the way, from your first cigarette to your last dying day.
I couldn't believe it. It was hilarious.
Yeah. Jason, I want to ask about wrestling, because I knew Tom, did some of the masks for WWE, and I see you do a lot with WWE as well. You look like you could have been with the Wyatts.
yeah, I get that a lot. Like, it's really funny. Like, I'll like meet somebody randomly on an airplane and, kind of start talking. They're like, oh, I'm heading to WWE for work. And they're like, oh, are you a wrestler? And I'm like, nope, I am art department.
But didn't you stand in for Bray on some sequence?
Oh, really?
No, they were supposed to do something and we never got around to doing any of that. So,
okay.
But yeah, no, it's really funny. Mook from corporate, anytime he's describing me to like meet somebody, he's like, just look for a guy who looks like Bray without dreadlocks.
Are you a wrestling fan, Tom?
Yeah, even when I was a kid, my dad used to take me to wrestling locally when it was Bruno Sammartino and Killer Kowalski and Crusher Lazowski, Batman. Yeah, I was. Definitely. Whoops.
No,
Are you still there?
Yeah, we can't see you at the moment, but we.
Yeah, hey, Jason, Franny's got a call coming in. I'm not gonna answer it, but maybe when it stops ringing, this thing will be gone.
Right. But Bruno would have been huge.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Wait, the host has asked you to start your video. Okay, I'm back.
All right, very good. Yeah. Tom, I was just saying, Bruno must have been huge in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Bruno still is huge in Pittsburgh. He's a legend. He's up there with like everybody else. So
yeah, I was very fortunate. I interviewed Bruno a couple times on the show.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. I only met him once, but I had to go all the way to Orlando to WrestleMania to meet him, and he was like making fun of me about it. So he's like, "Why didn't you just come and find me in the North Side?"
Yeah, I remember meeting him, and I was a lot heavier at the time. and I was very tired. I remember it was in the morning, and he was like jogging around the whole building early in the morning, and I was like,
Really?
yeah, he's much older than me. I was like, oh wow, this
Yeah,
guy.
he was like in the best shape I think he'd
Oh
ever
yeah,
been in.
yeah. He was like probably close to 80 at the time.
Yeah.
But I want to mention I have Creepshow up here. It's the original clamshell. It's the first VHS my mom bought me back in the 80s. It's a very special movie to me. And so when you're making monsters, like, do you just have free range, like however you want to create them, or do they give you guidelines like this?
No, I had friends of mine, artist friends of mine, do sketches of what they thought Fluffy, the crate creature, should look like. And then I did a bunch, and we gave them all to Stephen King and George Romero, and they picked one of mine. So that's why Fluffy looks the way he does, because it's from a sketch that I did, and turned it into them. Nate's corpse. Huh?
He's also on my hat, Fluffy,
oh, good.
And the corpse.
It looks like my 70th birthday cake. They made a cake for me with all my
hopefully I think hopefully the cake tasted better than my hat.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, how are you doing, Tom? I know you were in an accident not too long ago.
Yeah, I'm almost 100%. I think I'm pretty much 100%. My shoulder still bugs me a little bit, but not as much as it did. And 4 weeks ago, I couldn't do this. Now I can. So I'm almost 100%.
Yeah.
It was 6 months ago that happened,
Oh.
I got hit by a car on my bicycle.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm glad that you're doing better.
I love that you.
Well, it could have been a lot worse. Yeah, it could have been a lot worse.
So, how about creatively? Which do you get more satisfaction from? Acting? It seems I didn't know you were so really into acting. Acting or creating effects.
It's kind of hard to say. I mean, when I'm doing effects, I feel like a magician. When I'm acting, I'm somebody else. Especially, I did 8 years of repertory theater where I was a different character, a different play every night. I really enjoyed that because you're the character for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Movie acting, you're the character for 15 seconds. And I hate that about movie acting. I hate the repetition. I hate the paperwork. I hate all the shit around having to be. I just want to walk out and act. And that's what the stage did. So there was a lot of satisfaction in that. But the makeup was a chance to be a magician and to fool people. But more importantly, to scare them. I love to scare people. Okay. I had many opportunities on stage to do that, like in the play Death Trap, when during my death scene, blood came out of apparently nowhere. So the audience thought it was an accident, something I had rigged up. So that was great fun doing it, in front of a live audience where the first time you do it has to work. On a movie, it works because you got take 2, you got take 3, you can do it until it works, but on stage, right then and there. So what's more satisfying? Directing is, you're in charge of all departments and you're just a mental wreck when you're directing. Special effects, you walk in, you do your thing, and then you leave, But acting is the hardest thing to do. You have to cry in 5 minutes. Imagine how you would have to gear up your state for your body to produce tears. That's what an actor does. That's the hardest part. So the most satisfaction, I would have to say the makeup effects. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. What you just said there about, you have to cry, evoke emotions. And when you came back from Vietnam, you said, you didn't have the emotions. So
I was a zombie.
Was the acting harder then after you came back?
Was what harder?
Acting, being able, to show, or how did that affect your acting?
No, I mean, the acting was kind of like doing special effects. When I do special effects, I'm looking at the script and trying to figure out what they want, talking to the director and all that. As an actor, I'm doing what's in the script. Mm-hmm. So an actor is lying every second of what he's doing, So it was easy for me to. Now, what play did I do? I don't think I did plays until after seeing Midnight Cowboy. Yeah, that's true. The Line in Winter was my first play, and this was long after Midnight Cowboy. So my emotions had been turned back on. So It didn't affect my acting. Yeah.
I see. All right. And I also want to mention, I know you guys get another one coming up here in a couple minutes, but I thought it was really cool that you still collect masks and that like all these years of making your own things, you still have the passion for I guess monsters and masks. And I just want to know, do you have a few that are special to you?
That's how we support the addiction.
There's a severed head on my stove that arrived in the mail today from
Where-
Horror Dome. My mask collection is huge because when I was a kid, I shined shoes to buy masks. I couldn't afford masks. The Captain Company in the back of Famous Monsters magazine. So I have thousands of masks.
do you have any? Would you have like 2 or 3 that are standout for you?
Dick Smith's Portrait of Dorian Gray mask. That's terrific. Sid Haig's clown from House of a Thousand Corpses. The 6-finger David McCallum makeup mask from Outer Limits. Charles Lawton as the Hunchback. These are works of art to me.
Those are amazing.
Yeah, there's so many. I mean, if we were in my studio back there, I could just turn my phone around and you'll see 1,000 masks on the wall. There's a full-size alien back there. There's a full-size predator. In my backyard, there's a full-size creature from the Black Lagoon. Up in my theater, there's a full-size Frankenstein Wolfman, a present from Jason for my last birthday. There's
everybody at the shop
rabbit.
got together and we made Tom a life-size Lon Chaney Wolfman. For his
that's
birthday.
awesome.
Oh, that's amazing.
The Twilight Zone rabbit is up there.
Nice.
I have Robbie the Robot. I have a fully functioning Robbie the Robot that cost more than a car in my bedroom. And right next to him is a full-size Gort from the day the Earth stood still. No, I'm surrounded. I'm completely surrounded by masks and swords and horror makeups and things.
Very good. I love it. So this has been
fabulous.
great. Yeah, and I really love the movie, and not that you guys are here, but it was. I grew up a big fan of Tom Savini. My brother here, Troy, my older brother, he bought me the book, the makeup book, and I
Grand Illusions.
I read all about the Rice Krispie treats for the corpse and stuff. So I've always been a fan, and it was very cool to see another side of you.
Thank you kindly.
Oh, yeah.
So you did a great job, Jason.
Thank you.
And Jason, where can people follow the movie online to see when it can eventually come out and where?
Well, it's streaming right now on Shudder.
Oh, it is.
And then the DVD and Blu-ray release, I believe Walmart and every other major retailer in North America around the first of the year. But if you guys just follow Tom on social media at the Tom Savini, or follow me at Baking Jason, I will definitely keep everybody updated as much as possible, and hopefully people can get their hands on it and enjoy it as much as you guys did.
Very cool. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys being on tonight.
Oh, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you guys.
You're very welcome.
Been
I
great.
appreciate all your kind comments.
Cool. And enjoy Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Are you going to dress up as anything for Halloween?
I'm usually out of town at a haunted attraction convention.
Oh.
Yeah, you're probably booked throughout the whole month.
But Jason will. Jason is dressing.
Yeah.
Oh.
What do you have?
Everybody at the shop, and we're all doing a classic slasher. So like I'm doing Jason. One of the other guys is Leatherface. We got an Elvira. We got a Ghostface. We got a Chucky. We got my wife's doing what she calls Butterface Freddy, where she's like got the sexy Freddy costume, but she wants to wear the mask.
All right.
I'm like, you're gonna give me a complex. But
She's great. She's great, but her face.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, but Tom's probably going to be gone, but we come and hand out candy for him, kind of keep the tradition going.
The tradition of full-size candy bars.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yep. I mean, you got to. I mean, if you're a fucking horror icon, you got to go big. So.
All right, very cool. All right, we'll let you guys go.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It's so nice meeting you.
Yeah,
I know.
Well, bye.
Oh.
All right. So Mr. Jones, Mr. Terrible One, it's good to talk to you.
Yes. Nice to see you, Mr. Nasty.
Yeah, it was very cool to talk with Tom Savini.
Oh, the best.
Baker. Very cool. I really enjoyed Smoke and Mirrors. Great review by Ashley Turner on the Without Your Head website, so you can check that out.
Nice. Very good.
My Dawn of the Dead wine shirt here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Got my bub pin. We could
We're all
probably do a whole
Savini'd up. That's awesome.
Exactly. We could probably do a 13 on Tom Savini.
God, we could. That would be a lot of fun, I think. That'd be a good Halloween theme.
Yeah, I agree. That would be a fun one. Yeah, we got to think of some Halloween ones. Or we could just do effects of the year, too.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
We'll probably be doing a few more of the decade of decapitation before the end of the year.
Those are always a good time.
There's some cool horror movies coming out.
Yeah, looking forward to this month. There's all kinds of good stuff.
Let's see. Well, I saw Malignant earlier this October, but tomorrow, well, I think actually tonight, they always say they open Friday, but they really open Thursday. Lamb, which I don't know anything about, but I'm going to go see it tomorrow.
That one, I think we caught the trailer when we saw the Green Knight, and I was definitely intrigued. It just looks so unusual.
Yeah, I think it's made by that same group, so A24. So I think it'll be interesting and probably well made. But will it be? See, I really liked Midsummer, which is also slow, but I really enjoyed it. In Green Knight, I can't say it's a bad movie, but it's very, very dull for me.
I will say that it's a ponderous movie, but I loved it. I really did.
Yeah. So I assume this will probably be along those lines where it looks like it'll probably be a slow and strange, but it does not look like it will be a typical movie at all.
No. I think you can always count on theirs not to be like your, geez, I've seen this 100 times kind of movie,
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. And I like that they don't really give much away at all in the trailer. I wouldn't even know it's a horror movie if it did say on IMDb horror. And I think even they started to think it probably doesn't even show like what kind of movie it is. And I've noticed like in the ads now that online it says, a new type of horror film or something like that.
Is that what it? Okay.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Antlers comes out the end of the month.
Oh yeah, that I'm definitely geeked up for.
This one's, it was postponed because of COVID.
Yep. Yeah, that one, like, what we've been waiting for that sucker for what, 2 years now?
Yeah, it's
at least
been
a year and a half.
Time.
Yeah.
The trailer really looks up my like something I'm gonna like. I like the idea of a kid invoking his imagination and bringing forth a monster. It looks like something.
That one, it's kind of neat. If there's one good thing about it being postponed, I think we have kind of back-to-back Del Toro movies to look forward to, because have you seen the trailer for Nightmare Alley?
No, I saw that was listed on upcoming movies though on my app.
It's another Del Toro, and it looks amazing. The cast is phenomenal. I think it's horror, yeah, because it's I think like a sideshow kind of vibe going on.
Yeah,
you'll have to check out the trailer, Neil, because it looks like it's going to be intense too.
Halloween Kills comes out next week. I know you're not looking forward to it. I just really disliked the last one.
Yeah,
but the trailer looks good. But I also thought the last trailer looked good. But let's just face it, pretty much any horror movie that comes out, I'm going to go see. So.
Oh, yeah. I say that I won't because I hated the last one. I'll probably end up going to see it, even though I think it's going to suck.
It kind of makes me want to go back and watch all the old Halloweens, because there's a lot of Easter eggs of different characters from different Halloween movies that come back for this, which I think is fun. I know in the trailer you get to see the 3 masks from Halloween 3, which I think is a nice little touch.
Yep.
A friend of mine on Facebook, he was like, I hope they don't bring all these characters back just to kill them. But it's like,
but what are you saving them for?
Yeah. You're gonna bring back this minor character from Halloween Resurrection, and he's gonna survive. It's good. It's probably going to be fodder of people that get killed. But for big Halloween fans, it's kind of fun. Like, oh yeah, I know this character from it.
Oh yeah,
it's a little weird because those movies don't exist in this Halloween world, but it's still cool.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how they plan on what's.
Yeah, I think in this world, the only thing that's canon is the original Halloween and then this last Halloween.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, they skip over all of them.
Oh, okay.
For some reason. I get like maybe honestly, I think you could have just did a sequel from H2O. I know they really went a different way with the one character, but I don't know why you had to skip Halloween 2.
Yeah, I don't really get that either.
What benefit it was to have Michael and the woman not brother and sister.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I guess the idea is they just didn't want. It goes back to the original idea where there's no reason he's a killer.
Oh, okay.
He's just a straight up killer. So I don't know.
There's a new VHS movie coming out on Shudder. I think it starts this weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, VHS 94.
Oh, so they made another sequel to those.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I've enjoyed those.
Yeah, all the streaming sites are really going all out this year for Halloween.
Yeah.
Ton of it's cool because it's a good mix of new horror stuff and new stuff that's made for like these different streaming sites, and then a lot of classic stuff.
Oh yeah, so I'm looking forward to really all of that jazz, like the stuff we've already mentioned that it's coming to the theaters, and then I think we had talked before, Fathom Events. I think they have a bunch of the classics coming back to the big screen. And, and then the streaming sites, I mean, I know that's one on Shudder. I'm sure they have other things coming out. And then there's a Blumhouse thing on Amazon.
Yeah, we're going to have Gigi Saul Guerrero on.
Oh, nice.
One of her movies is on there.
I don't know if they're out yet or if they're coming, like different times this month.
They just started last week because I believe
hers
is up.
Oh, all right.
Bingo Hell.
That one looks so good. We watched the trailer for it. Yeah, yep. Yeah, I think he's the guy that runs the bingo, and he looks all evil, which he always does, which is great. Yeah,
she was we were going to do that this week, but she's in San Diego doing press for it's like Into the Blumhouse, I think, but she'll be on in the coming week, so that'll be fun.
Excellent. She's always great.
Yes, yeah, but this time we'll get to do it on video.
Nice. That'll be a good.
I think we should all wear lucha masks.
Oh, I like that. I might have to borrow one from you.
Yeah. So I just confirmed this just while we were doing the show. He got back to me. Michael Bailey Smith is going to be on the show soon, and he played. He's one of the mutants in the Hills Have Eyes remake, and he was also nice. The big. Do you remember in Freddy Part 5, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, when Jason's all big for a scene and he's like the bodybuilder Jason? I mean,
Freddy. Yep.
Yeah, he played that character, so it's going to be very fun.
Oh, awesome!
He's the big bodybuilding Freddy. So, so that's going to be a fun interview. I don't think it's a guy we hear a lot from, so that'll be good.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That should be a good time too.
Yeah, it's cool. I don't want to talk too much about like a local theater, but Brattle, for October and November, they're doing folk horror. So they actually call it a folk horror beyond the Wicker Man, because a lot of people just think that. I noticed that everyone, all folk horror, everyone wants to say it's like a copy of Wicker Man, and I get that it's probably the best of the folk horror.
Yeah,
but you don't say every movie's a copy of Friday the 13th or a copy of Halloween. There's
Frankenstein or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah.
All slashers is, it's a bigger subgenre, but folk horror is also a subgenre. So they're not all copies of Wicker Man.
Oh, exactly. You've seen a lot that are completely different, but
Even
still
Midsummer,
keep
I
that.
think people really call like a remake of Wicker Man. I think maybe inspired, but I mean, it's a much different movie.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
But that's fun because that's a sub genre you don't really doesn't get a lot of love outside of like Wicker Man and Midsummer. But I do think Midsummer kind of brought like some of that back.
Yeah,
some love to that genre back. So
yeah, which is
fun.
awesome. I think like because I love that genre. Like they can make like a ton of movies as long as you make them good. It's like the zombie movies, you know, like
Yeah.
there could be a million of them, but as long as like, you know, some of them are good, you might have to weed through some bad ones. So I have no problem. Like keep them going.
I agree. Yeah, you just I think you got to do something new with them.
Mm-hmm.
And we have seen like I'll sometimes like, oh, you know, another zombie movie, but you know, and then something will come along that really did something, you know, different with the genre, and I'll enjoy it.
Oh yeah, yep.
You know, you just gotta do something different. So The Walking Dead, speaking of zombies, it's this is the final season, and I don't know, I'm not been digging it, but I'll say in the comic, this is not my favorite part of the comic either.
Oh yeah, things start slowing down.
Yeah, it's pretty bad until the very end. And I think a big problem too is with the show is they killed off a lot of main characters that get a lot of these storylines in the later issues. And so they can't do them with the characters from the comic. So instead they do them with like newer characters that you really like. For example, in this last season, there's one of the major stories in the comic, in the final, you know, the finales of the comic is with Michonne. And so Michonne's not even dead, but in the show, but I think that actor is doing a lot of, you know, Marvel movies and stuff. So maybe they're just not around for it. So anyway, instead of doing it with Michonne, they do it with this other character that I honestly can't even remember the name of.
Oh no.
If you're not invested in this character at all, it's weird to give it like a huge, you know, storyline.
Yeah. That's kind of strange.
They also like I don't know, they change a lot from I've always felt that the show is usually at the best when it's more along the lines of what happened in the comic.
Yep, I agree.
But here are the list of folk horror beyond Wicker Man at the Brattle Theater. So if you're in the Boston area, Woodlands Dark and Days Bewitched. I've never heard of this.
No, what year is that from?
It says it's a in-depth documentary.
Oh, okay.
So that'd be interesting. The Blood on Satan's Claw. I think that's an old movie. Which I have not seen. It doesn't say really anything about it. Yeah, Woodlands Dark and Days Bewitched, a history of folk horror. So that sounds cool. The Blood on Satan's Claw, 1971.
Oh wow.
I've not seen that. That sounds interesting. Night of the Eagle, that's from 1962.
Wow. Yeah, so obviously they're all not copies of the Wicker Man, you know, yeah.
Lair of the White Worm.
I haven't seen that movie in 100 years. So like,
Ken Russell film. I remember when I was
didn't like it when I was younger, but I don't know. I might have to go back to that someday.
I remember it used to be on when we first got HBO, and well, I guess we had HBO for a while, but it used to play a lot on like the pay cable channels.
Yeah, yep.
Cinemax, one of those. Jugface, that's a modern horror movie.
I enjoyed that one a lot. I liked it a lot.
Larry Fessenden is in it, who I'm a big fan of.
Yep.
The Wind from 2019. I don't know this one, but looks pretty cool. They only show the poster. They don't really. Candyman, interesting. That does fit if you think about it.
Yeah, I guess it would. I guess, you know, like kind of that urban mythology kind of thing. So yeah.
Ganja and Hess, that's considered blaxploitation. But it's not really typical to a lot of the blaxploitation. But what is interesting is that's one of the maybe the only other movie with a horror movie with Dwayne Jones in it, from the lead from Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, okay.
I've
never seen that. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, it streamed on Shudder a few years ago. It's a kind of a long, slow movie, but it's cool. Hereditary, which I didn't really like at first, but I really like it more now when I watch it for our interview. Allison's Birthday from 81. I've not heard of it. The poster is whacked.
Well, they have a ton of these movies, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to see all of these movies. Oh, it does say in this Ozploitation, which I just found out is a term, Ozploitation. That's like horror films from, or just not horror movies, but movies that from Australia from like in the 80s.
Oh, I didn't know that was such a thing. Yeah.
Well known. And this Ozploitation cult classic, I will say everything's a cult classic, even just because it's old, but nonetheless. Maybe it is. I've never heard of it. A young woman has been unknowingly groomed for sacrifice on her 19th birthday by her so-called family. With themes that stretch from Rosemary's Baby to recent horror classics Hereditary and Get Out, Allison's Birthday is ripe for rediscovery. Interesting. Maybe we'll try to
look into that one.
Yeah, maybe we'll try to find some guests from these movies. That would be fun.
When you said Ozploitation, I was thinking The Wizard of Oz, and I was like, well,
right.
Besides Zardoz, what do you really have? You know?
Yeah, I didn't know it was a term.
Maybe The Wiz.
The Witch.
The Witch I liked.
Here's one we really love, and another one I didn't think about in folk horror, but it definitely fits is Pumpkinhead.
Oh yeah, yep. Can't go wrong with Pumpkinhead.
Lake of the Dead from 1958.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if we'll find anyone from it, but that would be A group of friends travel to a remote cabin with the intent of visiting the brother of one of their number. This isn't written very well. But once there, they find no sign of him. According to local legend, anyone staying in the cabin will be doomed to drown themselves in the haunted lake nearby. It's not long before they realize that they may have been cursed with the same fate. Renowned in Norway, yet little known outside of its home country, Lake of the Dead is its atmospheric chiller, sure to appeal to fans of folk horror and gothic literature.
I'll be damned. I didn't know this movie existed either.
Sounds interesting.
I'm getting schooled tonight from the Brattle.
Clear Cut from 91. Not familiar with this one either. Kuroniko. It's an Asian film from the 60s. Marketa Lazarova. It's a Czech film from 1967.
Wow.
And A Field in England. This is one I've heard a lot about. I've never seen it, but it's also playing on not Tubi, but one of those for Halloween.
Okay.
I've always heard it's like a classic, let's see. I'll read what it's about. During the Civil War in 17th century England, a small group of deserters flee from a raging battle through an overgrown field. They are captured by an alchemist who forces a group to aid him in search of a hidden treasure that he believes is buried in the field. Ben Wheatley's incredible psychedelic vision is a masterpiece of the folk horror revival.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about this, but I've never seen it. So it's one I'm going to have to seek out and watch.
How many movies with alchemists in them? So, yeah.
Ian McDade says, do yours looking forward to the new Halloween? Yeah, we talked about Halloween Kills. Adam Park says, yeah. So yeah, if you guys want, I'll post the Zoom link here if you guys want to come in. If you don't mind taking some Zooms, Troy
Zoom them
like
in.
I'm just kidding. Full chat room tonight. AJ Zyla says Super Freddy. There you go. Super Freddy. Does Troy Jones have a YouTube channel or podcast? Well, he's right here on this very podcast on this YouTube.
Here I am.
Yeah.
I exist.
Not sure what he thinks is going on here. So we're posting the Zoom link here if you guys would like to zoom in.
Come on and zoom.
Ian McDade, what is your favorite Michael Myers in all of the Halloween franchise? Oh, geez.
Yeah, he's tough to beat. I'll admit it. It's not like the popular opinion, but I do like the Michael and Rob Zombie's Halloween too.
Yeah, no, that's good.
He's pretty badass.
Yeah. It's just so different. But at the same time, I will say this. I do think if you're going to make a remake of a horror movie, you don't want to just do the same movie, because otherwise, what is the point?
Yeah.
So I will give him credit, try to do something different. I think it's kind of, to me, it loses the point of the original one, but he just has a different point. But I don't think I probably would have liked it better if it was just some new movie. That's also how I feel.
I love them both.
That's also how I feel about Dawn of the Dead. The new Dawn of the Dead.
Okay.
I probably would have liked it a lot more if it was just some zombie movie. As opposed. By the way, it was cool. AMC, every Wednesday and Friday through October, they're doing a mystery horror film. So you don't know what it is, but it's only $5. So I went Friday for the very first one, and went in there, and no one that doesn't tell you anything. The movie just starts, and then bam, it was the Dawn of the Dead remake from the early 2000s. And I never really was a big. I know a lot of people love it. I'm not a huge. I really didn't like it at the time, and I probably enjoyed it more this time watching it, but it's kind of I don't know. It's like someone just. Besides it being in a mall, it really has little to do with Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Social commentary, anything. It's just kind of like a cool zombie movie.
We have a horseshoe sighting. I see him now.
Hey!
Even Butler says Lair the White Worm is one bizarre film.
That it is. It is a strange one. Oh,
I got the cat.
Adam's got a cat. He's got the cat. Oh, what's your cat's name, Adam?
Ruby.
Ruby.
I like it.
It's like Ruby Soho in AEW wrestling.
That's right. Ruby, don't take your love to town.
Ian says you told your comic books was bad for you. They're gonna rot your brain.
It's
Rob
true.
Russell thought Mr. Savini is a master of horror arts. He's a national treasure, I agree.
Agreed.
Nona said, thanks, thank you very much, Mr. Savini, for your service in Vietnam. Much respect.
Absolutely.
I suggest checking out the document.
Absolutely.
What's going on, Horseshoe?
Not much.
You pumped?
Adam, what are you doing for Halloween? Are you dressing up?
Cause I am.
Good man. What are you dressing up as?
I don't know yet.
Dress up as Nasty Neil. You gotta get a top hat.
Get a top hat, get a nice jacket.
I could do that. That's
Or dress
easy.
up as Ruby.
No.
Dress up as Ruby.
Yeah, you can make a nice cat, I think.
Yes, I could.
So what have you been up to, Adam? Anything good going on?
Not much.
How's Boston treating you?
Alright, it's good.
Oh, you're
It's
living
good.
up in Boston now. By the way, I'm going to go see Lamb tomorrow. I'm thinking about going to get a Lamb Euro after I see Lamb, but I don't. Is that
Nice.
Well, I wonder if I feel bad. Will I feel bad eating lamb after? I guess it
It
depends.
depends, yeah. Like if you want to adopt one afterwards, you might not want to eat the sandwich.
Yeah. Or maybe I'll be like, screw this damn lamb. I'm gonna go devour it. Arr. You never know. All
That's
right.
true.
So are you? What's your favorite Halloween candy?
I like Reese's.
Reese's. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Reese's.
Oh, Reese's. Can't go wrong. Peanut butter
Yeah.
cups or pieces. I'll take them all.
Do it up.
Are you pro or anti candy corn, Adam?
This is the debate that rages on.
Yes.
I like candy corn.
You like candy corn
Yeah.
or? All right, good man.
You have who's your favorite monster cereal?
Ooh,
Monster cereal.
I'm a Boo Berry or Frankenberry man. Fried
I bet Adam likes the Count Chocula. That's my guess.
My
I've
own.
had that one before, and you know, it's pretty good.
You got Boo Bear, you got Frankenberry, you got Count Chocula. And then they had Yummy Mummy and Fruit Root. One of those should have been like vanilla. Yummy Mummy's perfect vanilla.
Yep,
Yeah,
that would have been awesome.
Fruit. How many fruit cereals you need? That was their downfall. They had too many.
Too many fruities. Yep, that killed them.
Yummy Mummy, if you would have been vanilla, sales through the roof.
Yep, they'd still be around today. It wouldn't have to be a October special thing.
Exactly. And the creature up here, he never got his own. Maybe a mint.
Oh, yeah. Wow, I don't think they've ever made a mint breakfast cereal.
Probably just tastes like mouthwash.
That's probably true. Be like Scope breakfast cereal.
But my favorite is probably you can get these on the Without Your Head merch page, and that is a Nasty O's.
You can't go wrong with the Nasty O's.
And Treacherous Treat.
It's true. I don't have my shirt on for that. I have
I was gonna wear it, but I
the
wasn't
Halloween from last time.
Oh, very nice, very nice, very nice, very nice. So coming up,
You want to know something? Speaking of Halloween,
Oh,
I
tell
went
us.
to Dollar Tree today up here, and you are not going to believe what they had out.
What did they have out?
What did you find?
They had Christmas stuff already out.
Christmas.
And it's not even Halloween yet.
I'm
Isn't
not
that a little early?
But yeah.
It's way too early.
Yeah, I do want to mention though, coming up October 24th, it'll be a Sunday this time. Severed Limbs Film Festival, 7 more days to Halloween, and it's going to be a good time. It's totally free right here on the YouTube page. So subscribe, hit the little bell icon so you get a notification every time we're live, every time we post a new video. And it's going to be a free night of horror shorts, a lot of cool underground, weird, graphic, gory horror shorts. It's going to be very fun. That'll be a good time.
Those are always a good time.
Yes, and this Saturday, because we're heading down to Halloween, so it's a return of the horror feature double header, 2 horror films this Saturday, totally free. You're going to see Witch Hunt by Rick Chandler, which that before, and we also see Old Man of the Rooks, which is a horror anthology.
Oh, nice.
Cool trailer. So that's going to start at 7 p.m. Eastern this
On Saturday. Excellent. Be definitely tuning in for that one.
Do it up. All right. Anything else there, Adam, before we head off into the wild?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, it was good to see you.
Okay. Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah.
Where's the fire, Horseshoe? Where's the fire? Oh, there it is. All right. Excellent. Ruby's on fire.
There.
Yes.
Good night, Adam.
Have a good night.
Night. Enjoy your Halloween.
I will.
Good candy. Avoid the
Yes.
razor blades. All right. And Troy, we'll be back here next week on Without Your Head. I'm sure we have some guests lined up, but
We
I think
will.
I'll have to figure out who's on which nights.
Okay. Excellent. So it's kind of like your mystery movie there, We'll wait and see. Who's
Oh,
coming up.
actually, I do know. I think I do know who's on next week.
Is it a secret?
Well, what you should do is go and join the Without Your Head group on Facebook. It's very active, and
Bunch of good people there.
yeah. And then you'll
And
find
some
out.
bad people like me.
Whoa! You usually find out, firsthand. Who the guests are and stuff.
Yep.
So I do that. Go and join that, because we actually have a few guests, but I got to get them all organized. All right, I got some more stuff I'm going to put up here for Halloween. I've got like Halloween ornaments.
Whoa.
Put these up. I have lights, which I did put up, but they were I got to redo it. Anyway, so lights, we're going to go all out here for October on that. I've got a bunch of gourds around here.
I love the gourds. I was just checking those out during the show.
You did mention
and you got your tiki mugs, which I love.
Yeah, actually it was cool before we went live. Tom Savini was a big fan of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Very cool. He seemed like a really good guy. And
yeah.
You mentioned a Halloween costume. We should do the costume contest again too. So I'll have to figure that out.
Oh yeah, that's true. See, everything sneaks up on me, Chief.
Exactly. And then this year, we're also going to bring back, no, we don't want to even talk about Christmas yet, but we will be bringing back the Secret Satan.
Okay.
Because of,
we don't want Horseshoe get mad at us bringing out the Christmas too early.
All right. So people go out, check out Smoke and Mirrors, the story of Tom Savini.
Yes.
It worked out very well with Tom Savini is in that. Otherwise, who knows what would have been going on.
It would have been very strange.
Would have indeed. So check that out. That'll be fun. It is fun. I've watched it. It's not just fun though. It's a really interesting, different side of Tom Savini, and lots of cool horror stuff.
There's a lot of stuff I didn't know.
Yeah, and a lot of cool horror stuff out there. As Troy mentioned, you've got the Into the Bloom House. That's on Amazon. I think any of the streaming sites you have, there's tons of horror content out there. Go out there and watch
things. I think it's the Halloween or Halloween.
Yeah, whatever you're into, go back and relive the classics or discover new, fun, independent films that could become your classics of the future.
Absolutely.
It's not one or the other. You can enjoy both.
You can enjoy them all. Watch the Halloween Star Wars Lego special on Disney Plus. Yeah. It's very good.
Is it really?
It was. I enjoyed it a ton. I'm a sucker for the Lego stuff. The Lego stuff is very, very amusing to me.
Okay. I don't think I've ever watched any of it.
Watch a Lego movie. Well, a Lego movie's good. It's good stuff. I was just
yelling at people not to be curmudgeons, and I'm like, I don't want to watch that shit.
Yeah.
Take my own advice, I guess.
You might find a little joy in the Legos, Neil. You never know.
I might just find joy in life.
In life, you might find some joy. You never know. Give it a chance.
All right. So
don't be like Scrooge all the time.
We miss Treacherous Trista here on the show.
Always thinking of Treacherous Trista.
All right. So we're gonna head on out.
We'll do it again.
Yeah. Till next week. This is Nasty Neil.
This is Terrible Troy.
This is Without
Your
Head.